Talking Mason Blue recruiting here with Clayton Safey. You can join him and the rest of the staff there at thewolverine.com on Rivals. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media. Think of it this way. You enjoy the content. Others will as well that don't know that we're here talking Michigan football on a regular basis. So please share the videos out on social media to help us build the brand and, of course, subscribe. All right, to Clayton, we got 2 weekends in the books here in June, when, of course, the dead period ended May 31st. We got a couple weekends left. Most of these student athletes have a great time on campus, even if they're not necessarily seriously interested in one particular program. They're generally going to have a good time and say good things about their visits. But based on, your observations, based on the feedback that and the conversations you have there at Rivals, just your thoughts about the first couple weekends and what has stood out to you.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because Michigan kind of revamped its recruiting department this offseason, as well as replacing 6 assistant coaches, and Jim Harbaugh has placed an emphasis on hiring assistant coaches who can recruit, who are known as plus recruiters, and then also added some positions, like I said, to that recruiting department. New director of player personnel, Courtney Morgan, who's kind of heading up the entire operation. A new director of recruiting, Ashawn Larkins, who's known as a good recruiter in the South. They've added Christina DeRuiter, who is the director of on-campus recruiting. So all these different roles, they have a new branding, push that they're trying to, get ahead of the name, image, and likeness type of thing. So lots of different things that they did. June 1 comes and these kids are hitting campus right away. Michigan's done, I think, a really good job. So June 2, the second day that, the dead period was lifted, they had Detroit Day. So, prospects from all over the Detroit metro area, even some in-state guys, even a couple guys from out of state who, based on their calendar, their schedule for a busy June, were able to get on campus. They're hosting all those types of guys, and really showing that they're interested in keeping the top talent home, which has been a criticism under Jim Harbaugh. He wanted to recruit nationally and find the best players. But I think with, some of the hires he made, Steve Klinkscale, a guy that we already talked about, he's recruited Detroit for a long time, even at Kentucky, being a Midwest native. Ron Bellamy has been a high school coach here in the state for over a decade now on the Michigan staff. Mike Hart has really recruited the Detroit area super well and has some strong ties, obviously being a former player here at Michigan. So those guys are emphasizing that. I think they did a great job with Detroit Day, bringing out all the stops to entice some of these in-state guys to stay home. And then, really the first couple of weekends have been big as well. There's been, a couple notable guys each weekend, but I think this coming weekend is the big one. 5-star defensive tackle Walter Nolan will be on campus. As I mentioned earlier, 5-star cornerback commit Will Johnson will be back on campus for the 3rd or 4th or maybe even 5th time this month, but this will be his official visit. Where he will.
Here's your best recruiter right there, possibly, Clayton.
Exactly, and that's what I was about to say, is that he basically has put his recruiting hat on. He's been on some of these Zoom calls with Michigan's coaches to recruit some other guys already. Now he's going to be able to do it in person in Ann Arbor once again. So that's going to be big. And I think that the Michigan staff, like I said, adding some roles to the recruiting staff, adding some guys that are really good recruiters, are really kind of hitting it out of the park so far when it comes to recruiting. I think this could be another top 10, top 15 class. I don't think it's necessarily going to be an elite class. It's kind of fascinating when you look at some of the positions. Quarterback, you had a super highly touted guy last year in J.J. McCarthy. Running back, you had one of the top in the country in Donovan Edwards. So it's kind of hard to follow up those guys at some other position at those positions. But I think it can be a solid class, and Michigan's starting to kind of build that foundation now.